Many viewers have asked quite correctly how they can rediscover or recover their totems. We shall summarize the 7 steps which anyone of African or black ancestry can use to revive and reconnect with their totems. We shall have a deep evaluation of the 7th step. Rediscover your totem, totemic force. Yes, it's liberation power time. There is no black person or anyone of African ancestry who does not have a totem or totems. But once more, what is a totem? It is an animal, plant, or natural object, as well as the representation of that object when it serves as the emblem of a family in a tribal or traditional environment on earth. Why are we using the plural term totems for an individual? Because your basic totemic configuration runs on 2 energy power lines, ancestral power lines. One from your father's ancestry and the other from your mother's ancestry, and all the other configurations and combinations that goes before and after them. Both of them are critical and very important in your search and discovery of the power of your totem. There is power in your totems. Your totem is an ancestral encryption, a spiritual switch. It represents a mystical and ritual bond of unity with your ancestry. Amongst the Bantus, totems are key symbols of our spirituality, religious and social cohesion, powerful identity tools for cultural and educational transmission across generations. Totems must be the basis for Africa's integration in unity, political, economic, and oneness with us all. If you do not have totems and you are black, then there is a history behind the causality of that loss. Discovering your totem corrects that history by putting it open in your consciousness. If you already have totems, you have to galvanize them daily, otherwise they are dead asleep in your blood. It is important for every African to find their totems. A minimum of 2 totems is a prerequisite to actively stake your part in critical rituals which mark the African life cycle. If not, you are still going to reincarnate in this life and the same situation until you get this right. Why should you activate your totems? Yes, why? Because you are the original human being created on the earth. As the original humans, we must first interact with life and conscious energy. We resonated with the virgination, animal energies, of which our original ancestors formulated the rules of engagement called taboos. The fundamentals of your life are bound in cycles within the world's creation according to Hamiti African black philosophy or Ubuntu. Being a Muntu or Bantu, you are a spirit essence inside an animal being. Your sociological energy can only be rediscovered regularly via the primordial ancestor, your original tribal procreator passed to you, which is dwelling in your blood today. Who was the creator? Is the original recipient of that energy or founder of that energy and the origin of all creation. Totemism reveals the idea according to which humans and animals are God's creatures and share the same condition and divine essence through the interaction of energy that impregnates them all. Just like the elephant interacting with water and the bird interacting in the vegetation, all began in ancient Africa. Nature connects more than 100,000 plant and animal species which are considered totems in Uganda and many other African tribes. A similar number of species are considered totems amongst those in the Democratic Republic of Congo, Central Africa, Southern Africa, and many other parts, and those Africans in the diaspora. There are steps now that we want to show that leads you to recovering of your totem. First step is you have to ask your parents or grandparents or relatives as well as neighbors about your totem. If all these parts, all these groups, all these people say they don't know, you have to go to the next step. And your next step is to find your tribe. And once you find your tribe, you find all other people associated with you in your tribe to discover and to establish your ancestral lineage. If that doesn't work again, you have to use the law of familiarity. This is a spiritual research. In other words, you have to induce our dreams. You have to use the feathers of Mahati. You have to engage in meditation or yoga to discover what your totem is or totems are. Then if all fails, you have to find external help where there are experts that can cast lots on your behalf. You can engage us and contact us on lmtumizulu@gmail.com to assist you, to connect you with people that are capable of discovering and your totem on your behalf. Does DNA work? Which could be the fifth step. Yes, DNA may work, but it is not a perfect solution. However, it can assist you by indicating where your tribes came from. But you can read more on this website that we are indicating about DNA and its caveats and its failures. All these websites show the limits of gene ancestry tests. So you must study about this. We have a warning about the accuracy of the test, which said such histories coming from DNA are either so general as to be personally meaningless, or they are just speculation from thin evidence. But you have to start somewhere. So you can start with your DNA, and then you can then go on your blood and also go on either of these other formulas that we have already indicated. If everything else fails, or if you have doubt in everything, then comes the critical part in which you have to adopt totems, male and feminine energies. And when you adopt this, you have to stick to these. These are not tattoos, or these are not fashion. This is your life. This is your spiritual life. So you have to adopt Africanized totems, animals or nature features from Africa, and adopt them. Then your extended family that comes from you will have to build up this intricate kinship of the adopted totems that you have already taken. So they will have parents, they will have children, uncles, aunts, nieces, nephews, brothers and sisters, all connected to your totem. Now they become your relatives. They become blood cousins, blood relatives, and taboos now starts to operate, all regarding each other as closely related. Remember this, the word cousin never exists in African languages or any other dialects, and kinship ends and begins at the nephew and niece levels. And then the other formula, the seventh one, is the libation method, which we shall talk about more. This is the DNA general map. These are the percentages of the DNA map that could possibly indicate where you come from. This doesn't include a lot of our brothers who were taken by Muslims, because they killed all of them and destroyed them by castrating them. We said the seventh step is libation. What is libation? The origins of this ritual of libation are so ancient and so important that even the people of Kemeshu obscure when the Africans are asked about it. It was lost in the midst of time and therefore accounted for in legends and myths. And one of that myths involved the sun divinity Ra, and then he sent his daughter Hatore, who is Sitole, to avenge his hate. And she wiped out humanity and proceeded so well that Ra changed his mind and wanted to stop the slaughter. But Hathor's bloodlust could not be easily arrested. Eventually, she was stopped by a trick. Served copious quantities of red beer. She drank believing it would be blood and became so drunk that she forgot about killing humans. So humans were saved. In Aikwe Ama's estimation, this legend explains the rise of propitiatory custom found everywhere on the African continent. Libation, the pouring of alcohol or other drinks as offerings to ancestors and divinities, can be attributed to this. You cannot hide this form of a ritual. You can see there, they are doing it. And one way or the other, you will have to establish that ancestral connection that gives you your totem. Whoever does not inform his children of his grandparents has destroyed his child, marred his descendants, and injured his offspring. The day he dies, whoever does not make use of his ancestry has muddled his reason. Whoever is unconcerned with his lineage has lost his mind. Whoever neglects his origin, his stupidity has become critical. Whoever is ignorant of his roots, his intellect has vanished. Whoever does not know his place of origin, his honor has collapsed. This was said by a Timbuktu scholar in the 14th century. One scholar, Richard B. Moore, also said slaves and dogs are named by their masters. Free men name themselves. I would rather say free men name themselves after their ancestor using the totem. This is a libation. If this is your time, your life will permit it, a good idea to be added and all other questions answered. It may be as simple as adopting totems and you also using libation as the solution. We see here that pour libation for your father and mother who rest in the valley of the dead. God will witness your action and accept it. Do not forget to do this even when you are away from home. For as you do for your grandparents and for your parents, your children will also do for you. It was said in the book of Ani in Hamid. And also this is, you see, this is a car and this is a libation tray. Some familiar Bantu words that relate to libation is the Shangan or Ndau word kutea, the Shona word mudiro, and also the other Shangani word ukorwa, or the Ndebele and Zulu term ukukolwa. And the tools that are used for libation as water, clean spring water, beer, wine, and many other liquids that can be used for that. But do not use those that are manufactured. You have to manufacture and make it yourself. The process of libation, you select a natural gold, a good quantity of beer or water or wine or any libation liquid. You find a quiet place. If it's a private libation, you have to do it privately. You don't have to publicize it. Make sure you can pour it into the actual earth and drink the remainder. The time, you can usually do it early in the morning or before bed. You have to ask about your totem, to know your totem. This is the purpose. This is the goal. So speak with respect and end up thanking the Creator about everything that has happened. When you do this, what is inside your blood will wake up and start to activate your life. Libation can also be used as a defensive weapon. As we have already narrated the story of Hathor, and as we have already shown here before going to war. The libationer is the one who performs the ritual, enters into this understanding of libation in order to recognize and proclaim existence and superiority of the Creator as well as his ancestors. Because for your life, you didn't get your life from yourself. It came via your ancestors. This is a book that we want to recommend you to buy. Libation by Kimani S.K. Nehusi. From the earliest known times, libations are always poured as part of the rituals which mark the African cycle of life. Naming ceremonies, initiation ceremonies, marriage ceremonies, and transitional ceremonies. These are funeral or death. Libation is also poured at occasions such as the marking of the settlement of a dispute, before chopping down trees individually or parts of a forest, at the installment of chiefs, at the many festivals in the African calendar. Thus, you can use it upon to call the Creator via your ancestors to receive answers to various problems or to thank them for various solutions. To start this matter further and deeper, we recommend this book that we have already indicated here. So the question is, what are the benefits of our libations and totemic understanding? In conclusion, since libation reconnects our lives in oneness with the Supreme One, the Creator, and the divinities and lying dormant in our blood via the ancestors, among ourselves, singly or collectively, and with the physical environment, we ought to have totems, or we ought to search for totems. This is the step, one of the many steps, crucial steps that you can use to identify and find your totems. A particular libation may be part of an occasion specifically devoted to the Supreme Creator, or to a particular divinity, or to an ancestor, or even to a living leader. But Every part of African society is usually acknowledged in the statement accompanying the pouring, including your family members, your family, your clan, your tribe, and everyone collectively. This is both a transgenerational as well as transcontinental performance or ritual. Asante and Abari 1996 page 60. Ancestor use is not ancestor worship. Africans, we use our ancestors. We do not worship our ancestors. We use them. That's why we carry their names and we carry their totems. Thank you. This is Priest Teacher Rabbi LM Tumizulu. Subscribe to our channel and let us walk this trip together. We hope these 7 steps will assist many of our viewers to discover and establish their totems. Thank you. Goodbye.